Ladies and gentlemen, the NFL draft is upon us, and this will be one of the more consequential drafts for the Las Vegas Raiders, possibly in the past 10 to 20 years. The last time they had a pick higher than number 7 was in 2019 when they did select Clelin Ferrell. And Josh McDaniels could either hit this draft out of the park and completely change the landscape of the Raiders franchise, or he could miss and his 4-year contract might expire early and his time with the Raiders might end up being short-lived. So this is one of the most important drafts, not only for the Raiders, but for Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler's career. So it's time to do a mock draft and see what the Raiders may do 72 hours before the draft. Make sure you subscribe to this channel for more Raiders content, and we're starting at the very bottom. Because I made a trade earlier in the draft, I have no 7th round picks. So the last pick is going to be in the 6th round with pick 37. And I'm going to go ahead and grab the San Diego State Aztec, Jonah Tavai. This defensive tackle had a great pass rushing grade last year, picked up 12 sacks, 10 sacks the year prior. I really don't see what's wrong with taking a chance on this guy. Size is not an issue. 6 foot, 290 pounds. He does have the weight. If he can make up for the lack of arm length, this guy could be a real dynamic player. And if he's gotten that many sacks in college, he might have a chance to be productive in the NFL. And in the 6th round with pick number 27, this is going to be a WiFiWillie influence pick. I'm picking Jalen Moreno Cropper out of Fresno State right here in the 6th round. Let's let the young man learn out of Devontae Adams, another Fresno State alum. Athletic wide receiver, was the #1 guy for Jake Haener the past few years. This guy is extremely dynamic, extremely talented, and has some high upside. He just played at a small school and doesn't exactly have the great height. The Bears only have 3 picks left. The Raiders are going to make a trade to dump off some of these 7th round picks to trade up and grab another player in the 5th round. So we're going to give 2 of our 7th round picks, and we're also going to give 1 of our 6th round picks to move up and get this pick in the 5th round. And with trading up, I'm going to get one of the more athletic and twitchy nose tackles in the entire NFL draft. The Raiders moved on from Jonathan Hankins last year. Let's go ahead and get Keandre Coburn out of Texas, the Texas Longhorns. 6'2", 344 pounds, a 2-down player, definitely a nose tackle. Only downside is he's just a nose tackle, not versatile, but hey, this is the 5th round. I'm drafting for specific needs, specific role players. I'm grabbing my nose tackle. And we're in the 5th round at pick number 7, and the Raiders need some help on the offensive line, maybe that right side, and they love versatile offensive linemen. So I'm going to go with Andrew Voorhees out of USC. This guy has played some snaps at tackle and also left and right guard. Raiders like players like this who could move around. He's played at USC for 6 years, but tore his ACL at the combine and is likely going to miss his entire rookie season. I think the Raiders would not mind stashing this guy on IR with a 5th round pick, seeing what happens. So I'm drafting Andrew Voorhees. We are in the 5th round with pick 10, and I'm going to go ahead and grab the San Jose Spartan, Viliami Fehoko. Oh, that's a hard name to pronounce, but this guy has put up some decent grades at San Jose State, had 12 sacks last year at the edge rusher position. He could be some depth, maybe a replacement for somebody like Malcolm Kuntz if the coaching staff is not too happy with him. And he's 276 pounds, needs to add some weight, but that is something that could happen. I know a guy named Max Crosby who had to add some weight after he was drafted, and he turned out pretty well. We're in the 4th round. Why not grab a linebacker? The Raiders need some, especially after losing Denzel Perryman. So why not grab Dorian Williams from Tulane right here, right now? This guy had that crazy 4.49 40-yard dash speed, great coverage skills, but a guy who does need to add some weight. So this guy has high upside and could be more of a project linebacker. I like him in the 4th round. And we are still in the 3rd round. The Raiders have multiple 3rd round picks, and I cannot believe that Jordan Battle, the safety out of Alabama, the man who could play some slot too. He had 129 snaps there just last season at slot, and even more in 2021. Needs to gain more weight for a safety, but we have Trayvon Merrick there. We have Marcus Epps there. I would love for this guy to be, that backup #2 safety. Really like Jordan Battle on this team, straight out of Alabama. I'm selecting him in the 3rd round. And we're in the 3rd round. I like what's shaking out here. The Raiders need a linebacker. They signed Robert Spillane. He's going to be the Mike linebacker. Why not go out there and grab Dian Henley, Washington State Cougar, kind of an undersized linebacker, but very athletic. The man is a former wide receiver. You'd like to see that. Also knows route trees. So I would like to see this guy in coverage a lot. I think I have an opportunity to take him in a later round, deal with the fact that, maybe he doesn't have the greatest size for a linebacker. So you know what? Let's take him in the third round. In the second round, and you still have Kelee Ringo available. The Raiders had a top 30 visit with this guy out of Georgia. Freakishly athletic cornerback, despite the fact that he's 6'2", had that quick 40-yard dash time. Man, this guy, I'm tempted to take him. Can also be a safety too, a versatile corner. And man, I just think the athleticism, it's too high. The Raiders need a cornerback, somebody to help out Nate Hobbs. Let's go ahead and grab Ringo in the second round. Right away, who was taken? The Texans took Anthony Richardson. CJ Stroud ended up going to the Colts. Jalen Carter, no, he went to the Seahawks. And Christian Gonzalez already taken by the Lions. The Raiders are on the board. Who will they select? Will Levis is there at pick number 7. And I firmly believe if Will Levis does fall to pick number 7, I believe the Raiders will pull the trigger. I think there's been not much chatter about Will Levis to the Raiders. I think he makes the most sense because he's a little different than Jimmy Garoppolo, a lot stronger, more of a dual threat quarterback, deep balls, just needs to improve in his short passing game. And I think Josh McDaniels can do that with him. It could be a real QB battle for the number 1 spot with Will Levis. And I think he gives you, that potential to be that sort of playmaker that you have in the AFC West. He definitely can make some things happen in the red zone and is not afraid to take some hits. So if this was the case, if Jalen Carter was gone, if Christian Gonzalez was gone, we could get Devin Witherspoon out of Illinois. Nate Hobbs likes him, but I'm going to go ahead and I know that quarterback is just the most important position in the entire NFL. And if you get that right, everything else could fall in place. I think if you're picking this high, you got to go big. And I'm selecting Will Levis. And that is what I believe the Raiders will do. If Will Levis falls to pick number 7, I really do think they will select him. You heard it here first. If they don't, you could come back here and tell me how wrong I was. Will Levis, I think, is better than Anthony Richardson. Not as accurate as CJ Stroud, but more athletic. And honestly, if you look back 3 months ago, everyone was saying that he could be the number 1 guy. And then you have all the rumors, and who knows if they're planted rumors, tanking different people's value like Will Levis. So this is my mock draft 72 hours before the draft. This is partially what I think the Raiders would do based on who's available when we're selecting. I made the controversial move of selecting Will Levis over Devin Witherspoon. I think that's going to ruffle some feathers, but hey, I went ahead and reached for Kelee Ringo in the second round because I want to get a dynamic cornerback that's very athletic, that played at a big college. Why not grab Ringo in the second round, pick my future franchise QB in the first round? Then I went and grabbed a project linebacker in the third round, Dion Henley. I thought I had some flexibility since the Raiders went and signed Robert Spillane and still have Divine Diablo on the roster. And I luckily was able to pick up Jordan Battle in Alabama at safety. This guy could also play in the slot. Who knows if the Raiders are fully bought in on Trayvon Merrick? We know Marcus Epps is going to be here for at least 2 seasons, but why not have 3 great safeties? I think that is a good move. And we went ahead and grabbed Dorian Williams in the 4th round at linebacker out of Tulane. Has that quick 40-yard dash time, high upside linebacker with some size issues similar to Dion Henley that was selected in the 3rd round. 2 project linebackers there. Went ahead and grabbed the versatile lineman Veriz out of USC. He has to be on IR for the first season, but maybe he can be useful next year. Keep in mind, Justin Herron for the Raiders is coming back. They traded with the Patriots for him last year. Maybe he'll be in the picture this year, so they might not need as many O-linemen as you think. And then we went D-line in the 5th round, getting a nose tackle in Coburn, and then also Fahoko, getting that edge defender. Maybe could be somebody to back up Chandler Jones and Max Crosby in the future. Has to put on some weight though, definitely. And then in the 6th round, our final picks, we went with some picks that mainly come from my heart, and we got Jalen Moreno-Cropper out of Fresno State. Kid Devontae Adams mentor him, and then Jonah Tavai out of San Diego State. Defensive lineman interior has the arm length issue, the height issue, but is very productive nonetheless. Let me know in the comments how much you love my draft, if you agree with my predictions, and also let me know how much you hate my mock drafts and hate my predictions. I want to hear both, bro. If you want to find my latest video, make sure you search WiFiWillie Raiders on YouTube to find whatever I'm making, and check out some of these other videos that you may have missed on this channel. Peace out, everybody, and I hope you have a good one.